Hello guys, the Manga Man here. Thank you for checking out my channel. And today we're talking about Solo Leveling Chapter 125 Manhwa Review. It's probably going to be about 3 hours since it's been released, but due to prior commitments, this is always going to be the case with Solo Leveling. So without further ado, let's get into this review. So, the chapter came, the chapter went. And as always, Solo Leveling is hype and exciting. So much so that you know when it's a good chapter, you know when it's a good read where every chapter seems too short. And this is one of those chapters, one of those series where I could give you ratings, but I end up giving you 10 out of 10s or 9 out of 10s for a lot of the chapters in Solo Leveling, so I don't really bother. But a good chapter nonetheless. Moving to this chapter, the few things I wanted to know were about the double dungeon. That was literally what I wanted to know. And then when the chapter started, I was like, are we moving away from this chapter? Are we not going to find out what happens straight away? Are we going to be kept on pins and needles waiting to find out? And thankfully that wasn't the case. We didn't get all of it, but we got some of it. So, let's kind of break down this chapter. We saw Yuri Orlov. He's at the airport. And basically he's getting treated like the celebrity paparazzi type of thing, and they ask him a question. How do you plan to stop the gate? And we find out it's to do with his ability, and they say, look, I'm going to make a big ass circle around it, pour my magic into it, create a barrier, nothing's coming out. And then they basically says, essentially they doubt it, and he goes, well, a good thing about his ability is it absorbs energy around it, so if you get mana crystals that they would have harvested from other dungeons in the area, or gates in the area, that will reinforce and even make the actual barrier stronger. So in reality, as cocky as he is, he's basically a support S-class. He isn't really a combat S-class based on his magic. The way he was showing off stopping those other S-classes, you'd think he'd be a lot more, combat-esque, attacking. But no, he's literally a support S-class. So for all the bravado, I guess he got lucky with the abilities that he's got, and he's going to be making some cheddar out of that. Because if you think about it, Jin Woo would just go in there and wreck the place and leave. It would be done within minutes, hours, whatever. And it is just coincidental that this is happening while he's doing this double dungeon situation. We basically then kind of pan out, and it's the head of the Hunter Association. I'm just going to call him NETERO. The NETERO of this world and story is watching this back in South Korea, and he's speaking to his assistant, and he's like essentially wondering what would happen if he'd failed. Is he really going to be successful? And then his thoughts go to Jin Woo. What's Jin Woo been up to? Oh, he's particularly been dealing with very specific dungeons or gates, and he specifically wanted a week. Basically was training. He was basically leveling up his skills so that he could prepare for this double dungeon. To which he gets interrupted by a call, and this call is to inform him of what we as the readers basically saw earlier, that there's a double dungeon at the school and Jin Woo's inside it. When I got to that part before scrolling down, I was like, ooh, we're gonna find out more. And we did. It literally carries on from the next bit. The statue that had the tablet shows wings, flies up. And that's when things get interesting, because the tablet that essentially was carrying with the laws about worshipping the Lord gets broken, and he goes, it doesn't really mean much anyway. It was just blasphemous when you think about it, because one of the people in Reddit mentioned that the actual text starts off with the Hebrew language, so the Old Testament, and I believe it's the book of Genesis or book of Revelations. I'm not sure. In any case, it starts off with that, so it's meant to be referencing to the Bible, and it breaking and saying it doesn't mean anything is kind of blasphemous, but that's a bit naughty. I'm sure the Christians out there will get the pitchforks out eventually and knock down on the author's door. That being said, we have a test, and there's a question going on, who are you, what are you, blah 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 blah. He goes, you shouldn't be asking about what I am, you should be asking about what you are. And this refers to his ability, the Shadow Monarch situation, and he goes, "You're gonna get tested." So obviously Jin Woo's ready. He's got this army that he's been preparing, and he goes, "No, you can't use those in the test. We are testing you, not your friends." And I like this because if you think back a few chapters ago, he literally mentions it himself, and he was like, if I let these people do everything, my skills will get dull. So his skills haven't been dull because he's still involved when he defeated the boss of the other dungeon and made it his friend. Ultimately, he is still polishing his skills, and this essentially is a test of that. So if you notice with the way this has been going, the way he's fighting, he's essentially fighting them. He's fighting a person with a sword, he's fighting a person with an axe, he's fighting a person with arrows. So essentially he's going through all the different weaponry, and he's breaking, ripping it off, throwing it back, doing damage, double daggering people, all this stuff. He seems to be doing what he needs to do. Then, and at that point, he goes, "Well, we can't let it finish now. Let the bowing to the god begin." And then the big one in the middle, who had the big smile on his face, arises, and that's where the chapter ends. But what I find interesting is ultimately the way this is. If you look at the conversation throughout this, the prize isn't a level up. The prize isn't a particular item. The prize is knowledge. And the knowledge at this stage is quite important because it would be a big revelation for him to find out exactly what's going on. Those people that came out of the gate on Jeju Island, the people that were fighting against his dad, what's going on, where they're coming from, what's the situation, without spoiling it for webtoon or manhwa readers only. So there's a lot of revelations to come about kings and monarchs, so hopefully we'll find out some of that. But I want I want them to flesh out this battle, because he literally says, he goes, "I've been waiting for just this moment." He's ready to do damage. He's ready to go in there. I'm losing my words in my excitement. So I think the things to take away from that is, because he's fighting a varying range of opponents, essentially he's getting all his skills tested, his brute force, his ability to dodge, his ability to maneuver, his ability to anticipate ranges, because every weapon has a different range, and how you deal with them, obviously you do slight differences, different strategies. Also, the fact that he's talking about reading movements, and you can see how much he's grown originally to now, because essentially they were on the tiptoes in fear last time around, where they literally were just barely dodging for their lives. Now he could read everything and he can fight. So we want to see what the level is between the big statue and these guards. Is he going to bow, or is he going to make them bow to him? We're going to have to wait and see. As always, please like, comment, share and subscribe. I have been banned from the Reddit, so I can't post comments on there, but this will be posted on my subreddit, as well as the link to the chapter that I'm reading this off. So feel free to comment and do your thing, and I'll see you next time. Peace.